folks, Phil here again. It's Saturday the 18th of October. It's a bit overcast, but it's dry, crispish, and I think it's the last dry day we're going to have for a few days now. So as we're heading into the winter, unfortunately it's that time to do all the winter jobs again. So today what I'm planning on doing is putting a heater on the grow-on pond, cleaning the glass on the grow-on pond, putting 90% of the covers on the main pond, and flushing the bottom drain, and generally giving the filters in the big filter house a good clean out basically, and then that'll be the last thing. Then they'll all be ready for the winter. So if I can just spin you around, show you what I've already done in the filter house. I mean, I don't need to do a lot of winter prepping here. All I basically do, I've got these big sheets of polystyrene that I put up the windows, so the windows are covered from the inside, and other than that I've got a couple of big mats that I just throw on top of here. I don't know why I do it, to be honest with you. I don't think it really does anything, but just, you know, having them covered makes it feel a bit better. The temperature in here, I mean, bearing in mind the door's wide open, is 17 degrees. To be honest, it very rarely gets below 15 all through the winter, and that's because of the all the electrics and all the heated air. Sorry if the lighting's a bit funny on the camera, I'll move outside in a minute. But yeah, that's it. So I'll get everything ready and then I'll pop back and we can do what we've got to do. Right, I've done my normal thing. You know, you start these jobs and then you forget to film, blah blah blah, so I've just had to stop myself. So as you can see, got the jet wash, got the rodding pipe out, ready to go. All the covers I bought from around the back of the pond, so all these covers you can see, including the ones I've already put on the pond, they all live down the back of the shed down that way. During the summer you can't see them, so we've got two big pieces of polycarb that just stay on their own. There's one there and there's one at the back, and then you've got all these frames that I originally made. They've got polycarb one side, but then they're completely covered in bubble wrap as well to give them like double insulation. They're all numbered, so I know where to put them basically. As you can see, I've already put two on. So this is the one, I know it says number 5 on it, but it's just position 5. This is the one that starts it all off. I get this one right and everything just fits in. This is the one where the feeder goes on. So you'll notice, as I do for the holidays, when I go into winter, I don't want this all flinging out all over here, obviously, or even if I turn it around the other way, there's no effort to go. So I have my hole cut in one of the sheets, and then I just put that flap of plastic on the top, and that basically just means it hits the plastic, drops down, and then shoots into there. And then the natural flow from the air bar, should we see the air bar? The natural flow from the air bar, I think you can probably see it down there, just then takes it down and into the pond. So that air bar will stay on all winter, and as I say, the temperature, the air's coming out of the shed very rarely gets below 15 degrees, and I shall reduce these to 14, 15 degrees anyway, so it won't make any difference. You can see they're all still blooming hungry. They're still at 21, that'll come down to 20 today after I've done all my bits and pieces. But anyway, I'm gabbering on. So what I always do is I always put my holiday covers on first. So these wire mesh covers, if you will see in previous videos, I put them on every time we go on holiday, and it just gives me peace of mind about fish jumping or anything like that. So they're on. I put them on first, and what that does basically is just gives me a bit of lift and a bit of support, so I can put the polycarb sheets on and they just literally lay on top. So I'll get a couple put on and I'll come back to you. Right, so progress made. This is one that starts off down this end. This is number 1. There's a couple of corner filler pieces here that go in as well, just a bit of polycarb, but you'll see when that's number 2, sorry, out of the back. Number 3 is in position. For now, this square here will just be left open. Keep finding food everywhere. This square of light will be left open. That's annoying. So number 2, which is the long thin one up there, will just sit on top of number 3. But before I do that, that big poly cover over there and that big poly cover over there will basically just go on top of these and give an extra level of insulation. And the advantage of that big poly tunnel there, because of how high this is, that will literally just fit straight up against the backy shower. So the backy shower can stay running and I don't need to worry about it losing so much heat. So I'll get everything done, so we're ready, and then I'll come back to you. Okay folks, so there we are. So that's the gap I leave for days like this. I won't actually pull that cover across to fill that gap until we're a lot colder than we are now. But you can see what I mean about the big polycarb sheet. It slides on top of the other one and pushes straight against the backy shower. Now I don't bother covering the backy shower either, to be honest with you, because again the back of it against that shed that's kept quite warmish, but everything else is good. There's a little, well, this is a filler piece because the covers aren't exactly perfect. I've cut them down that many times and used them for other things, but anyway, that's just a little filler piece of polycarb in the middle, and then I put the other big polycarb sheet resting on the top here. And the reason I do that, make sure this end is really heavily insulated, because up that corner there at the bottom is where the warm air from the warm water from the air source heat pump comes through. So it's just trying to keep this area, if you like, at least warmer than most. There's a hole in there for the food, but obviously that gives me gas escape as well. And I don't know whether you'll see it from here, there's about, under the bottom cover, no you won't see it, under the bottom thick cover that this is sitting on, there's about a half-inch gap as well. Oh, feed has just gone off. Is it half 10? Yeah. So yeah, there you go. You can see how the feed. Ooh. Spooked them. So yeah, that's the unfortunately that is the winter covers on, done and dusted, as I say, other than pulling that one over. So I'll get on with the next jobs now. Next one's going to be rodding the bottom drain. Right, as you will see, I'm all ready to go. I've got the jet wash connected up to the rodding line, which goes down my rodding pipe. Now, I'm not going to subject you to all this again, because obviously if you watch previous videos you will have seen this. I do it 3 or 4 times a year, much more efficient than actually purging. And obviously again, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know I can't purge this one anymore, because I actually set it up as the feed for the backy shower with a separate pump on. So that goes through there, up there, across there, and into the backy shower. And I did that because I do rod the drain, so there's no need. I mean, there's not that much stuff collects in there. There's like a little bit of silt you can probably see. But what I'll do is, once I've purged the bottom drain, I'll let it run for a bit. I'll jet wash in the bottom of there, and what I've got here, I just put 2 nets, just bog standard nets, over the holes that go through to the media. And that just collects all, can't do it one-handed, that just collects all, sucks the net into it, and then just collects all the gunk that goes through, so it doesn't go into the media while I'm doing it. So I'm going to crack on with that. It'll take me about 2 minutes, and then I'll come back, and if you have a look at the, I don't know whether you'll see any difference without proper lighting here, but if you have a look at perhaps how dirty it is in the bottom of there, you'll see perhaps a slight difference when I've finished. So that's me all jet washed out. I managed not to soak myself today, so that's all done. That's the rodding hole, obviously. I haven't cleaned the casing or anything. I'm not that pedantic. Before we go into winter, that'll be a proper spring clean. I don't know whether you'll see if the bottom looks any, get out the way Phil, whether the bottom looks any cleaner or not. I don't think there was that much actually sucked through. If we look into the pull these out now, the nets that have been catching any crud, nah, oops, I don't know if you've seen that, hardly anything came through from the bottom drain. So I mean, it is that time of year, there shouldn't be a lot. As I say, I do it for just peace of mind. Let's have a quick look at the other one. Need to bend that handle back. Ugh. Oh, everything's so awkward when you're doing it one-handed. Bent the handle back enough, there we go. Again, there's hardly anything in there, so there was nothing in the bottom drain. It's, as I say, it's just my peace of mind. The only other thing I would point out is the screens on the drum. So when I go away on holiday and for the winter, I take the normal 60 micron screens out, and I put these 150 micron screens in because obviously 150 microns it lets twice as much particles through, but in real terms you just don't see the difference. But what it does basically is stop me having to check every well, I don't have to check every week, but I like to check every week. Middle of the week I come in and have a look and see how much it's cleaning and stuff. But if I put the 60 microns in, they tend to need changing because of our shocking water. They tend to need changing every month or a couple of months because they just build up with lime scale. But these go on for, well, 3 months or so before I need to get them out and jet wash them. So I've got two sets of 60 micron screens, and as I say, I'll change them alternately all from April through to October. I'll change them every month, and then jet wash the other one off, and then they're ready to go back in a month later. But these 150 micron ones now, they will last me all the way through till October without having to jet wash them at all. So that's a job done, and the covers are on outside. So yeah, I'll snap back to you when we're over on the grow on pond. I'll just tidy everything up here and put it away, and then move on to that pond. Right, back over to the grow on tank. Everything is doing absolutely fantastic, as you can see. They're all getting really big now. These are going to be really big come this spring when we sell them off for charity. There's Anne, star of the pond. There are some really nice fish in there, but anyway, that's not what we've come here for. That I'll come back to in a minute. First change on the grow on pond, heating. So I wasn't going to bother heating it this year, I'll be honest with you, but as you can clearly see, if I come around the back, dun dun dun. So my I don't know if I can get it any better than that. You just try a different angle. So, cut a long story short, when I dismantled the pond to put the new filtration on, whoops, I put everything up for sale. There we go. So this heater, the 1 kilowatt Aquaforte heater that I done on last year with great success, put that up for sale. One person said, definitely I want it, I'm coming on picking it up, blah blah blah. They never turned up. So another person then got in touch with me and said, oh yeah, I'll want it, I'll come at the weekend. Never turned up. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to put it back on the pond. So that is now heating the pond. It's down the back, it'll be covered. And that is set at 15 degrees, although the temperature of the pond at the moment, if you can see that, is 16. The other change is for the waste. So as you will know, that's the waste chute. What I did have on there was a 90 degree, and then this pipe went onto the bottom of that 90 degree, and then as you can see it took the water by that tube all the way out to the back of the pond and into the flower bed. Now I'm slightly concerned that in the depths of winter that is going to get frozen. So what I've decided to do, and it's basically how I set it up temporarily in the first place, is that 90 degree bend that was on there originally is now set up to a big long 4-inch pipe, and that is just going to fit on the end of there. He said try and do it with one hand. Sorry about this. Am I going to get it on with one hand? There you go. Perfect. That is going to sit on the end of there and drain into this bucket. Now as I say, this is only for the winter, so I must plumb it in properly next year, but for now that will basically just drain into that bucket. And yes, I know I'll have to empty that bucket, I'll have to empty it just before I get to work in the morning, I'll have to empty it before I get to bed at night, but I think it's a small price to pay to still have all this set up and not worry about freezing, because all that literally has to do is that just obviously it's not fitted onto that waste, so I just have to lift that up, take the bucket out and empty the bucket. So as I say, I think it's a small price to pay. That's my filtration for the winter. So I think that's about it. I say everybody's doing fine. Not looking forward to the next 3 months, but I'm as set up as I can be. Yeah, you see that from the drainage, that pipe comes out the back there and drains into this flower bed, which admittedly everything's in pots at the minute, but that's like that's my drainage underneath there. So yeah, as I say, I don't want it freezing or anything and freezing back up to the outlet. So that's it. I'm done. We're all set up. Little fishies are all set up. I am going to cover that, albeit just with a big tarpaulin for this year. A big tarpaulin, we're going to literally right over the top of everything, over the pond, over the filters, and that's just really to keep the wind off. So I'm not looking for any insulation with that, just to keep the wind off. That will be heated to 15 degrees, whereas on this one obviously it will be well, we'll see what we come down to on this one. I know I want to come down to, but whether I'm brave enough to come that far, I don't know. But anyway, they're all set up for winter. They're all still doing really well. As I say, I'm going to turn the heating down to 20 degrees today. So, turn you around. I think that's about it. End of the season. No more shows to go to. No more things to look at. So. Just keep a watching brief, and if anything comes along that's interesting to bother filming, then obviously I'll film it. But yeah, just get yourself set up for winter ready, and good luck. See you next time. Bye.